to sing a song that old was sung. From ashes ancient Gower is come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals on ember eyes and holy ales, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it for restoratives. The purchase is to make men glorious, et bonum quo antiquis eumelius. If you, born in these latter times, when wits more ripe accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antioch then, Antiochus the Great, built up this city for his chiefest seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say. This king unto him took a fair, who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of face, as heaven had lent her all his grace, with whom the father liking took, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father, to entice his own to evil should be done by none, but custom what they did begin was with long use account no sin. The beauty of this sinful aim made many princes thither frame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures playfellow, which to prevent he made a law, to keep her still and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, his riddle told not, lost his life. So for her many a wight did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues to the judgment of your eye, I give my cause who best can justify. Here have you seen a mighty king, his child I was to incest bring, a better prince and benign lord, that will prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, losing a mite, a mountain gain. The good in conversation, to whom I give my benison, is still at Tarsus, where each man thanks all is writ he speaken can, and, to remember what he does, build his statue to make him glorious. But tidings to the contrary are brought your eyes. What need speak I? Good Helican, that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone from others' labors, for though he strive to kill and bad, keep good alive, and to fulfill his prince's desire, sends word of all that haps entire, how Thaliard came full bent with sin, and had intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best, longer for him to make his rest. He doing so put forth to seas, where when men bend, there's seldom ease. For now the wind begins to blow, thunder above and deeps below, make such unquiet that the ship should house him safe, is wrecked and split. And he, good prince, having all lost, by waves from coast to coast is tossed, all perishing of man, pelf, ne aught escaping but himself, till fortune, tired with doing bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes, what shall be next? Pardon, O Gower, this longs the text. Now sleepy slate hath the rout, no din but snores the house about, made louder by the o'erfed breast of this most pompous marriage feast. The cat, with eyne a burning coal, now crouches for the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth, ere the blither for their drouth. Hymen hath brought the bride to bed, where by the loss of maidenhead a babe is moulded. Be attent, and time that is so briefly spent with your fine fancies quaintly etch, what's dumb in show, or plain with speech. By many a dern and painful perch of Pericles the careful search, by the four opposing coins which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence, that horse and sail and high expense can stead the quest. At last from Tyre, fame answering the most strange inquire, to the court of King Simonides are letters brought, the tenor these: Antiochus and his daughter dead, the men of Tyrus on the head of Helicanus would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he there hastes to oppress, says to him, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he, obedient to their dooms, will take the crown. The sum of this, brought hither to Pentapolis, he ravished the regions round, and every one with claps can sound. Our heir apparent is a king, who dreamed, who thought of such a thing. Brief, he must hence depart to Tyre, his queen with child makes her desire, which, who shall cross along to go, omit we all their dole and woe. Lycordia her nurse she takes, and so to sea the vessel shakes. On Neptune's billow half the flood hath the keel cut. The fortune's mood varies again. The grisly north disgorges such a tempest forth, that as a duck for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and well anear does fall in travail with her fear, and what ensues in this fell storm shall for itself perform. I will relate, action may conveniently the rest convey, which might not, but by me is told. In your imagination, hold this stage the ship, upon whose deck the sea-tossed Pericles appears to speak. Imagine Pericles arrived at Tyre, welcomed and settled to his own desire. His woeful queen we leave at Ephesus, unto Diana their votaress. Now to Marina bend your mind, whom our fast-growing scene must find, at Tarsus and by Cleon trained in music letters, who hath gained of education all the grace, which makes her both the heart and place of general wonder. But alack, that monster envy, off the rack of earned praise, Marina's life seeks to take off by treason's knife. And in this kind hath our Cleon one daughter, and a wench full grown, even ripe for marriage right. This maid hight Philoten, and it is said for certain in our story she would ever with Marina be, be't when she weaved the slated silk with fingers long, small, white as milk, or when she would with sharp needle wound the cambric which she made more sound by hurting it, or when to the lute she sung and made the night bird mute, that still records with moan, or when she would with rich and constant pen veil to her mistress Diane. Still this Philoten contends in skill with absolute Marina. So with the dove of Paphos might the crow thy feathers white. Marina gets all praises, which are paid as debts, and not as given. This so darks and Philoten all graceful marks, that Cleon's wife with envy rare a present murderer does prepare for good Marina, that her daughter might stand peerless by the slaughter. The sooner her vile thoughts to stead Lycordia our nurse is, dead. And cursed Dionysa hath the pregnant instrument of wrath pressed for this blow. The unborn event I do commend to your content, only I carry winged time, post on the lame feet of my rhyme, which never could I so convey, unless your thoughts went on my way. Dionysa does appear, with Leonine, a murderer. Thus time we waste, and longest leagues make short, sail seas and cockles have and wish but fought, making to take your imagination from bourne to bourne, region to region. By you being pardoned, we commit no crime, to use one language in each several clime. Where our scenes seem to live, I do beseech you to learn of me, who stand in the gaps to teach you the stages of our story. Pericles is now again thwarting the wayward seas, attended on by many a lord and knight, to see his daughter all his life's delight. Old Ascanius, whom Helicanus late advanced in time to great and high estate, is left to govern. Bear you it in mind, old Helicanus goes along behind. Well-sailing ships and bounteous winds have brought this king to Tarsus. Think his pilot thought, so with his steerage shall your thoughts grow on, to fetch his daughter home, who first is gone. Like motes and shadows, see them move a while, your ears unto your eyes all reconcile. See how belief may suffer by foul show. This borrowed passion stands for true old woe, and Pericles in sorrow all devoured, with sighs shot through and biggest tears overshowered, leaves Tarsus and again embarks. He swears never to wash his face nor cut his hairs. He puts on sackcloth and to sea he bears a tempest which his mortal vessel tears, and yet he rides it out. Now please you wit, the epitaph is for Marina writ by wicked Dionysa. The fairest, sweetest, and best lies here, who withered in her spring of year. She was of Tyrus, the king's daughter, on whom foul death had made this slaughter. Marina was she called, and at her birth Thetis, being proud, swallowed some part of the earth. Therefore the earth, fearing to be overflowed, hath Thetis birth child on the heavens bestowed. Wherefore she does and swears she'll never stint, make raging battery upon shores of flint. No visor does become black villainy so well as soft and tender flattery. Let Pericles believe his daughter's dead, and bear his courses to be ordered by Lady Fortune, while our scene must play his daughter's woe and heavy well-a day in her unholy service. Patience then, and think you now, or all in Mytilene.
Marina thus the brothel escapes, and chances into an honest house, our story says. She sings like one immortal, and she dances as goddess-like to her admired lays. Deep clerks she dumbs, and with her needle composes nature's own shape of bud, bird, branch, or berry, that even her art sisters, the natural roses, her inkle silk, twin the ruby cherry, that pupils lack she none of noble race, who pour their bounty on her, and her gain she gives the cursed bawd. Here we her place, and to her father turn our thoughts again, where we left him on the sea. We there him lost, whence driven before the winds he is arrived, here where his daughter dwells, and on this coast suppose him now at anchor, the city strived, God Neptune's annual feast to keep, from whence Lysimachus our Tyrian ship espies, his banner sable trimmed with rich expense, and to him in his barge with fervour hies. In your supposing once more put your sight of heavy Pericles, think this is bark, where what is done in action, more if might shall be discovered. Please you, sit and hark.
Now our sands are almost run,
more a little and then dumb. This my last boon give me, for such kindness must relieve me, that you aptly will suppose what pageantry, what feats, what shows, what minstrelsy and pretty din the regent made in Mitylene to greet the king. So he thrived that he is promised to be wife to fair Marina, but in no wise till he had done his sacrifice, as Diane bade, whereto being bound, the interim pray you all confound. In feathered briefness sails are filled, and wishes fall out as their will. At Ephesus the temple see our king and all his company, that he can hither come so soon is by our fancies thankful doom. In Antiochus and his daughter you have heard of monstrous lust, the due and just reward. In Pericles his queen and daughter seen, although assailed with fortune fierce and keen, virtue preserved from fell destruction's blast, led on by heaven and crowned with joy at last. In Halicanus may you well descry a figure of truth, of faith, of loyalty. In reverend sermon there well appears the worth that learned charity aye wears, for wicked Cleon and his wife. Though when fame had spread their cursed deed and honoured name of Pericles, to rage the city turn, that him and his they in his palace burn. The gods for murder seem so content to punish them, although not done, but meant. So on your patience evermore attending, new joy wait on you. Here our play has ending.